update. Normally I'll do yearly updates, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Around Christmas there'll be a very in-depth look of the tank, all of its equipment. I generally do that once a year because it's normally an hour video and it takes forever. This video is going to be all about cleaning up some of my cables. I've had the privilege of having this big old giant fish that I rescued in a little tiny tank. That dark one right there, that is a gigantic damsel. Yeah, he's huge. And he has the unfortunate habit of smacking water out of the tank. So as you can see, these water droplets, and you can see that the rim of the tank is wet. That is from him smacking water all over the place. Now the front of the tank, I really don't care. Once you get into things like electronics, these are the power outlets for my Vortex and for my XR30 Radeons. That's when I start to care, as well as all of my Neptune equipment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to route all of this down and into the cabinetry, and it's gonna go boom, 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 and then it's gonna go all in one tight bundle, shoot out into whatever piece of equipment it needs to go to. I did this cabling, for lack of a better term, about two and a half years ago, coming on to 3 years, I believe. So it was definitely not a professional job. As you can see into here, this is just an absolute monstrosity of cables. Now they've tried to be somewhat organized, but when you're dealing with cables, that only goes so far until you put zip ties down to things. Now newer things I've zip tied in place, but unfortunately that has got to go, because the last thing I want that doing is a little piece of water from that fish smacks out, or a snail. I've had this before. I've got a Trocus snail that's about the size of my hand, and that sucker likes to get back massages on my return outlets. So what he'll do is he will stay right under here, and of course his pointy shell, that's the size of a mountain, gets stuck in there, and then of course the return pump freaks out. Water goes everywhere. I do not want that dripping down into a power brick. And one, power bricks are not super cheap to replace. I mean, you're looking at like 20 or 30 bucks. And two, which is the real concern, is this: I don't want a house fire. Yeah, insurance is cool, but I don't want to burn down the house. So what I've been doing, and it is a mess right now, but I've been drilling holes in preparation for the extension bars that Amazon will deliver to me tomorrow. I've got holes drilled. Problem. So what I've done is I've cleaned out this cabinet, and I've actually had to break down a 20-gallon tank. And what I've done is I've put that 20-gallon tank down here, and now it is full of RO water. It's not really doing anything for me, so I might as well put it to use. And I don't want to buy one of those super expensive custom-made RO holders, because that's a massive waste of money when you could just throw a barrel under here. But I didn't have a barrel, had a tank. Anyways, 20 gallons, that'll last a little bit longer. But you can kind of see what I've done here is drilled through this little shelf, and then I've drilled through here. So it'll go down, curve into here. What I'm thinking is that I'll make like a service loop. It'll come like that and then come down, because there's 6-foot extension cords. I know I'm definitely gonna have tons of extra length. So it'll come down probably all the way over to here, come back, and then down and over. I've yet to drill these, but same concept. It'll go out from here, boom, and into here. And these shelves will kind of be a resting spot for those big bulky energy bars. So I'll drill another cluster of holes here, and then another cluster of holes here, and then instead of having this chaos, it'll be all one controlled bundle and it'll just shoot out into whatever the heck I need it to shoot out into, because everything is controlled by the apex. So it'll be nice and neat, and everything will be able to funnel, either come down like that, or it can come down like that, and it'll all look super neat, funneled in. Bye bye fire hazard. Yeah, so I will conclude this video after all the cable management has been done. I just wanted to give a basis for what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it. All right, so I will see you shortly in the second part of this video. All right, and obviously the second part of this video, as you can see, all the cables been neatly cleaned up. Everything was routed, so if it went on the top of these electrical bars, it just ran up through that into this bundle here and went straight down. If it was on the bottom, obviously it went to the bottom. I did have to drill another hole right here because some of the things just weren't long enough, such as the Trident waste line and sample line. Those you cannot increase or shorten, according to Neptune, so I definitely took their advice and did not mess with that. We've also got an extended dose reservoir. So that's done. You know, obviously ReefLink, everything can be plugged in directly to the Orbi Wi-Fi satellite. And then I've got a makeshift patch cord running underneath up through here into the brain of the apex. So everything looks 100 million times better, for sure, and as well as there being minimal garbage running from over here and then down. In fact, there's nothing, this wall, aside from the dosing lines right there, this wall separates this from the tank. So even if a fish was to splash over here, it might get the Trident a little wet, but that's plastic, so it'll just run off the side. There's some cables that run down through the bottom, and then boom, they beeline out to whatever they need to. All the boxes, all the power bricks are in here, so the fish can't splash them anymore. I was also able to increase my automatic top-off reservoir to 20 gallons. This is a 20-gallon all-in-one tank that I'm not using. It's been, I'd say about 4 days. So yeah, 10 gallons is already evaporated, which is super annoying, but not as annoying as having to replace that jug every 2 days. So not fun. This is also where I store my hoard of real reef rock that is definitely not live, but I just like the look of the real stuff, so I'm a hoarder. But yes, so right here is where all the stuff comes from, and then it makes a giant S, so it wraps around throughout here, and then it goes straight down. Just have to drill under here, down, and then over, and then it just goes through each cabinet until it breaks out. So definitely was something that really needed to be done. I wish I'd set it up right the first time, because this actually took me about 3 days. Not 3 consecutive days, but of course get off work tired, so I'd only put an hour or 2 into it. So it probably took about I'd say 6 hours, because I've got so many outlets, and I had to keep increasing the size of the holes. So I have to go back, drill some more, go back, drill some more. Then of course just routing is a pain in the butt, because some of these devices have multiple cords to them. So you got one cord going to the controller, and then one going to the power supply. So that was fun, but everything's labeled. That's what all these white stickers are. They're just the labels to, if I ever have to unplug stuff to move it, I know exactly where it's going to go back. And then on the bottom side, I know what device is hooked up to it. So at the top, I know the port for the energy bar, and down here I know the device. So should be pretty good to go in case I ever have to do anything like move it all really fast. It should not take 6 hours again. It should just take, you know, maybe 2 or 3, and that's just because of the massive amount of electronics that are on this tank. I mean, the gear that's on this tank is good enough to probably run a 210 gallon, maybe even a 250 gallon tank, which is, so it's all definitely overkill. But I say that just to remind people that you really should do a little bit of wire management. Now this is in an open space, so I just was getting fed up with it and I want it to look nice. If it's not in an open space and it's just in your cabinet, as long as you have like a drip loop or something where water can't become dangerous, then it's totally fine. It's up to you whether you want to put the mental effort and buy a bunch of extension cords off of Amazon. Totally up to you. But all right, I will do a 1 year video update like I normally do, and hopefully I'll have a lot to talk about this time because there's a lot of new equipment in Coral. So see you then.